I'm Bart Kettle with the Utah Division of Oil, Gas, and Mining, the Deputy Director over the Oil and Gas Program. And as Representative Chu stated, I am in fact from right here in the Uintah Basin. I grew up on the Duchesne County, Uintah County line south of Roosevelt. So I'm kind of thrilled to be here with all of you, but I recognize at this point in the day, you're hoping for a really good conference. And there's three things that makes a good conference. Lunch sooner than you expected, more breaks than you anticipated, and you get done before schedule. So I'll see if I can do my part to do the third one. The other two are already in place. So a lot of the speakers today have talked about how much work is being put into the plans and the things that are going to be done in the Uintah Basin here in the future. We've had industry talk about that. I want to kind of mention one group that hasn't been mentioned so far. That's your local legislatures, your county commissioners. I've had the pleasure to work with them the last couple of years. They're working really, really hard to represent this little community. I see them 6 o'clock in the morning, January winds blowing across Capitol Hill, and there they are scurrying to their first meeting trying to represent all of you. So if you get a chance to maybe take a minute and thank them for the work they do, I can assure you they're working really hard for you. My presentation today is actually to talk about another group that's working hard for this community and the industry, and that's the Division of Oil, Gas, and Mining. That's our group. We're a little different regulatory body. I don't think that's always recognized, but we are. Our mission, encourage development in a responsible manner that protects the resources of the state. We take that seriously. So I'm going to start with a little clip here that talks about what we do.
The Utah Division of Oil, Gas, and Mining oversees the regulation, exploration, development, and production of Utah's vast oil, gas, and mineral resources. It is comprised of 4 programs: oil and gas, minerals, coal, and abandoned mine reclamation. Oil and gas program staff oversee the permitting, inspection, and regulation of the extraction of oil and natural gas resources while ensuring compliance with rules protecting public safety and environment. The minerals team is dedicated to fostering the sustainable development of Utah's rich mineral deposits, including critical and industrial minerals and precious metals. They ensure responsible resource exploration, extraction, and reclamation while prioritizing public safety and environmental protection. Coal program staff review and issue operator permits, complete site inspections, and oversee the reclamation and bond release processes. Ensuring compliance with coal regulations allows for continued coal extraction to occur in a way that reduces or eliminates long-term environmental impacts. Utah has a history rich in mining. However, when the mining ended, mines were often abandoned, leaving behind equipment, open shafts, tunnels, and piles of waste rock. In 1975, the Utah Mine Reclamation Act was passed, making it illegal for mines to be abandoned. Today, there are an estimated 17,000 abandoned mine openings across Utah. Abandoned mine reclamation program staff work to protect the public from these dangers by sealing off access to openings and cleaning up waste. Utah's economy benefits significantly from coal mining, minerals, oil, and natural gas production. The Division of Oil, Gas, and Mining does its part to ensure responsible access to these precious resources that contribute significantly to our quality of life.
Okay, so just a slide on the value that our extractive industries bring to the state. That's our oil and gas industry, that's our mining industry. All of you can look through the numbers on there, but some $10 billion with a B dollars to the state's kind of the value comes from this industry. And somewhere near half of it comes right here from this little community in the Uintah Basin. So something to be pretty proud of. And so there's actually been quite a bit of conversation already today about production in the state. In 2022, we had the highest amount of oil production in the state on record. And of course, we always kind of want, in my generation, it was called the scoop, what's next, right? And while I don't know for sure what's going to happen in 2023, we just have a little graph up there that shows, based on the production that's been reported already this year, And if we kind of calculate that out to the rest of the year, there's a really good chance that we're near that production level in 2022 or maybe higher. And that's in spite of the difficult winter that we had here in the basin. We did see production declines in January and February due to the snow and cold temperatures here. Natural gas production, it's not even close to a record high. However, I think it's really noteworthy after a nearly decade-long slide in natural gas production the past 4 years, we've seen it even out and even increase a little bit. And we're seeing that trend occur or continue this year as we move forward. And I forgot to mention this in the previous slide, but over 80% of the natural gas is produced here in the state, or in the Uintah Basin, and 90% of the oil comes right here from the Uintah Basin. So we're always kind of wondering, well, what comes next? Oil and gas drilling permits, we call them applications for permits to drill. We've approved more APDs this year than any year since 2015. 2015 is an important year because that's when activity in the state, and specifically here in the Uintah Basin, started to switch from vertical well bores and some directional well bores into horizontal wells. So we're seeing less wells drilled, higher production, and this is the most APDs that we've seen over that period of time so far here in this year approved. This slide, I kind of want to talk for just a moment about some of the trends that we're seeing in the state. So the first thing I must point out is, because I've been asked this question, if you look at the pie charts, the white on it, and it has fee under it, just think of that as private. And if I can direct your attention to the left, and that's the composition of wells in the state, we see roughly half of them in the state are federal mineral lease types, which is no surprise. Utah's largely federal lands. And then tribal, state, and fee represent a pretty significant slice. And then right at the top, there's that little tiny red part that kind of looks like an error in that. And that's multiple mineral types. So that's a mixture of federal, tribal, state, or fee mineral types in one single well. And that represents most of the horizontal wells being drilled in the state. That's a predominant well type we're seeing drilled at this point. It's where a lot of the production's coming from. If we can switch our attention to the right-hand side and look at that chart, that's what our applications for permit to drill look like this year. And so a dramatic increase, or a dramatic change where we see the fee mineral type and the mixed mineral type suddenly being the major thing that's being submitted to the state for review. And it's significant. Earlier in the day, we heard some conversation about what mineral tax dollars mean to the counties to support infrastructure like county roads. And so as we see that federal type reduce, that may be a reduction in those mineral types. That'll be something that'll be really important for those exact same local elected officials to talk about and work through. It's an important subject going forward. I want to talk about a couple of things that we've been working on for the past couple of years here in the division. Digital transformation. Most of that work has been inward facing for us, helping us kind of schedule where we look and where we go first and what we do next. Basically automating our process through electronic forms, and then dashboards to inform us so that we can tell others the story that needs to be told, or tell each of you. Some of the things that are on the horizon for us, we're updating our website. We're looking forward to having some increased search functions. We're the data source for oil and gas data in the state, and so we're interested in providing some more kind of searching capabilities. And then also we're looking at updating some of the permitting processes, modernize it a little bit, make it a little more interactive with the industry. This is all made possible by the legislature kind of seeing the work we've done in the past few years, having faith in us, and saying we're going to give you more money to do more of this work. So we're looking forward to that work in the future to kind of support you as industry as we go forward. The last thing I want to hit on is our employees are our greatest asset. We're a knowledge-based organization. I may be a little bit biased on this, but I think we have some of the best. I'm shocked at how knowledgeable they are daily. They're very passionate about their jobs. And so if you run into any of those folks here in the crowd, we have quite a few people in the group, maybe talk to them for just a moment. I was actually going to ask them all to stand up and acknowledge them. And when I said that to them, I got a couple of crosswise looks that made me think that might not be a safe thing for me to do after the meeting. So I'm just going to pass on it and say we have some great people. They are the ones that make us a different agency. As I started out saying, you know, we encourage responsible development. They're the folks behind that. They believe in this. So I'd like to give them a huge shout out. And as I'm concluding this, that exact group of people bet me that I couldn't bring up penguins in this conversation. And I thought about it for a few moments, and they were right. I couldn't figure out how to slip penguins into this presentation. But I just slipped penguins in 3 times. I'm pretty sure that wins me the bet. So we should be done that's my presentation. If there's any questions, thank you for your time.